Alright folks, welcome to this exciting video where you once again join me in the middle of a main road in the Scottish wilderness here. And today I've actually parked in front of the same chapel I parked at through the week. Last week on a video I came to the area at Dun and I found loads of cool abandoned history, like an old ice house and stuff related to the house of Dun, which is like an Angus mansion house. And since then I've been told there's some cool abandoned history that I missed on that adventure. So yeah, we're going on a fresh adventure tonight. And yeah, the sun's setting, but we've still got a good couple of hours of sunlight here. So yeah, real missions folks. It's cool always exploring a bit of history or a path that you've never been down before. And last time I walked down this area it was like going into paradise. The amount of different plants and shrubs and trees, and it was just crazy, and then all the history hidden throughout it. Definitely worth going back to see what else there is folks. So yeah, let's get into this adventure. Look at this folks, this is the path leading into this forgotten wilderness. But it isn't actually a forgotten wilderness, I suppose. It's actually well maintained, but it's always incredible just exploring places like this because it's like a jungle. When I found out there was more hidden history here, it's just like mind-blowing. Let's document fresh history folks. That's what these videos are all about. It's the adventure, trying to come and find stuff like this. It's stuff from like Scotland's history just hidden here and forgotten, waiting to be uncovered. When you cross this boundary line in the path here folks, this is when the vegetation and the shrubbery just becomes incredible. But I'm going to have to walk quite far to get back to the area that I've not already shown you on the video, so I'm now going to record all the same things that we saw the previous time I was here. This is all just like a fresh adventure here folks. And yeah, I'm going to navigate through this jungle and try and remember which paths I went. I've found my way through this jungle, like, what's the word? It's a jungle scene folks, that's all I can describe it as. Tonight there's loads of little flies and stuff flying about out here, probably following the stream. There's an incredible waterfall and stuff up there, and the vegetation is just insane. I just have to walk up to the top of this hill and then through the gate apparently. It's like one of the paths that I didn't go the last time. So there's also like a path here that I've never been as well. It's crazy like going places you've never been. The sort of place this is, there could be loads of history just hidden around every corner. It's crazy folks, we're dealing with an injury on this video because I've sliced my finger there. Look at that. The corner's missing off my finger now. But also today another incident, look, my fingernail on this finger. I crushed my thumb. So both of my hands here, we're running with an injury on this adventure. And the pain in my thumb right now is constant. That's how it's worthy mentioning here on the video. And we're out doing these adventures like all conditions, all scenarios. Wow, it looks like there's like a den area down there with no trees. It'd be cool to get a shot looking towards the big house, and it would be cool to see like the house of Dun on this adventure. This is the part up here, everything's covered with ivy. Look at this folks, we've come through this gate. That's the ice house there. If you want to see that, it features in the video called What's Inside This Hole. That's one of those unusual titles. But see, when you upload like 4 videos a week, it's cool just to have some refreshing different titles on them sometimes. Or else every video would have very similar things. Wow, this is crazy. We're inside some insane walled garden. There's like a stone arch and stuff like that. But I'm wanting to find this. There's like an ancient burial ground here, hidden within this land. So yeah, amazing scenes. I can see a fence here. This could be it. Real history once again. Wow, look at this folks, with the detail here. This is no like standard fence. Look at the cast iron shaping and the paint, the gold with the black. This is some real history of a Scottish estate right here. Look, it's the Erskine family graves. And look at these pillars here. They are also metal, I believe. Look at the tops on them. The detail right there. Look at the ancient graves. And look over at that side, there's an old chapel. Crazy scenes of history right here once again. We'll go and take a look at this chapel. Wow, I love finding history that I've never seen before. And there's never two things the same. The detail here and the workmanship that went into these estates back in the day. It's here on display now, but it goes unseen by most. And if anybody is around the Angus area, they should definitely visit House of Dun and take a walk about the gardens and stuff. I think they've got a good cafe and you get a good cuppa and stuff there as well. And you can actually get a tour of the big house. So, yeah, it's worth a visit. And like there's little nuggets like this hidden in the woods and the outer perimeter. It's like the less seen nuggets of history. It's cool to share it with the world often on a video like that. Incredible scenes. So out of respect for the family and that, I didn't want to be going in and pushing the gate open. I'm not even sure if it opens. It maybe does. But yeah, we can see those graves and it's crazy how it's just often nature takes over. The ones at that side are like in the bushes. But I got some photos and we'll go and take a look at this ancient chapel because I think the stones is just carved incredibly and it's amazing to see. There's an old stone arch there with like, it looks like there's a bit you can walk up the side, but I'm not sure. There's some houses around here, folks, and I'm exploring with respect. Look at this, folks. Oh, the graveyard gates, they all make this noise. Whoa, the gates are just like fleeing open. So I want to close them so to keep deer and stuff out. You can't mean you always leave a gate as you find it. Look at this, I've just noticed this ancient stone as soon as I've come in the gate. Wow. It's hard to read the date, folks, it's really hard. Looks like it says 1693 there, to be honest with you. But I could be wrong. That is really old if that is the case. 1693 potentially carved into a stone. Sometimes it's easier with the camera. Once you review the footage you can actually see the letters better. It depends also the light shining on the stone. Wow, this is some ancient graveyard, but it's nice to see it with the grass cut and it's well kept. That is such a nice Scottish scene there, folks. That's why I love coming on these adventures and seeing a brand new bit of history that I didn't even know existed just a week ago. I was so near to here at the old ice house and then boom, there was a whole other bit of history just around the corner. And look at the carving on it, even that circular stone at the top, it's got details on it. It'll be hard to see from here. It's had intricate carving. Yeah, even though there's no roof and stuff on it, it's like, it's got a big metal door. Look at the stone carving here. It's hard to even see it probably, but it's like the shape of a human. Wow. I love some of the old Celtic grave markings. Look at this, folks. (1869). Just think of that, folks. 1869. This is some ancient times. Some of these other ones are even older. If they're on their back like that, though, unfortunately, the weather just takes its effect. Wow, these have got some carving in them. It's such a shame that The rain and stuff lands on that and just ruins it. In the winter in Scotland, the ice freezes and chips away at it. There's just some incredibly ancient carved gravestones here. This must be the ones I was told about. Wow. Apparently a lot of the old gravestones around here were children's graves and stuff. I was told this by somebody that knows the local history. And apparently that's because there was so much more disease and stuff, and people died younger back then. A lot of people died in infancy. And often, like in this sort of graveyard, you find the odd gravestone like that. Crazy times in history. Look at that, folks, 1780. Real history right there once again. Just think how many years has passed since that time. It's like wild. The history of an old chapel like this. Sometimes there's even older sites on places like this, older religious sites, and then they built onto it. But back in those days, most estates had their own chapel and their own little kirks. And the estates back then would have had their own community with loads of people working for them. Whereas nowadays the estates just have 2 or 3 folk off. And yeah, look at it, this whole graveyard here has been built up with a wall. It drops off into like a jungle like forest. Let's check out this stone carving here, folks. Oh, like, it's almost like the mason's tools there, and then there's a saw and an axe, and then a square edge. And that's all the tools right there. A set of compasses. I'm just analysing up here, like 1778 it looks like it says. The stone carving though is just wild. And it's so cool that it's remained as well. There's actually writing on the back and the front of these old stones. Wow. It's crazy to have a wide variation of things on my channel, different bits of history, different nuggets, and it's amazing what can be just hidden everywhere. It's like history from all different time frames. Yeah, this is insane seeing this. When I visit history and old things, it's almost like you're transported back, imagining how it was back in the days of this. Look at that face on there. Check that out, you can see the marks from the mason finishing the stone. He's made it like a pattern. Look at that. Intricate details there of the masons kind of the era. The corner pillars are constructed like that, chiselled out and carved. Whereas you can see this is different. This is stone they've just built. And they spent often more time. Special stones were used, the more shaped stones. If you look closely you can see the original marks, the chisel marks. But that was intentional, I believe. Because you can see, or maybe it's too high up, but there's like little holes along there, little dots. And it's just doing something different with the stone to make it look cool. I always loved the way they spent time on the detail back in the day. Interesting things. Nowadays even gravestones and stuff are just like plain with not a lot written on them. And look at the carving and stuff on this. 1744. Ancient history of Scotland right there. 1744. It's just madness. Look at that face right there too. That's cool. Like, this is my favourite gravestone in the graveyard here, I would say. And it's also like the oldest one. Even the details here, look at that carved in. Seeing that stone carving and that from 1744, that's just been so cool to see. There's so many little historical nuggets here in this graveyard. Even stuff like this, it's like an enclosed tomb of stone, but look, it's had crazy details on it at one time, which would almost go unseen, and every year more of it's flaking off. It's such a shame. Wow, look at that. It's got like the knight's armour helmet. $1757 right there, folks. 1757. See, some of these will be even older than that, but it's like often you just cannot read them. Okay, look at this one for instance. It's got amazing details, but the moss will probably be actually protecting it to a certain degree, keeping the worst of the frost off the stone and stuff like that. Wow, the whole construction of this is cool. And then these old gravestones, every one of them is just impressive. Again, incredible detail, none of them is just plain. Again, each of these people buried here probably had an incredible life. Again, now it's just like a little bit of history in Scotland. It's a madness. Look at this. This is what I saw when I was on the west coast. I saw it for the first time. It's actually a cast iron gravestone here. And look at the construction of it. It's fully made of metal. It's an iron sheet with cast iron detailing onto it. And I have seen this once before. But like, it is cool to see something different like that as well. It's got a stone inlay with a cast iron front piece. 1867. 1861 he died there. Wow. It is crazy. Different gravestones. The different years, they had different styles of gravestones as well, and that's interesting often in graveyards. Again, you can just see different times. It's hard to explain, but different layers of time through the stone carving and construction. Look at this, folks. It's crazy at different times, the different styles that they were into for like gravestones and any sort of stone construction, even little chapels like this. Wow, look at this one, folks. I'm literally just checking out the coolest graves around here, or the ones that look the best. This is a double gravestone, look, 1827. Wow. I love just seeing the years and stuff on them, 1827, and the stone carving. Sometimes the writing is so hard to decipher. This other side of the graveyard drops right down into the steep den here. But look at this chain fence here. I've seen this at other old grave sites before as well. And this has got an incredible Celtic carving on it. And it looks really well preserved because it's here in the corner under the tree. And it's from 1903. Look at this here, folks. There's a second cast iron gravestone here with the stone inlay. And it's got some cool detail as well. But look, you can see this one's had the back broken. It's maybe been hit by the tree or something. You can actually see the old construction of that. Wow, folks, real history once again. I should see what year it was they were constructing these things. 1867. It's cool the way this wall here is shaped with a curve. Oh, there's more ancient stones there, look. Those are the ones that's like hard to even read. Looks like 16 and stuff like that, but look, one of them's actually fallen out here, look at that. So there's bits of it on the ground. That's how if anybody comes here, they shouldn't touch these things. Because imagine you were touching it and then it fell out. History gone forever, folks. Look at this one, it's got a pair of scissors. Wow. History that blows my mind, folks. It's from such a long time ago. And all they've done there is carved into a stone, but think how the world was back then. The early 1700s. Wild times. Wild times in Scottish history. And to think they were building stuff like that. Now it's just a wee bit of history here hidden in the countryside of Scotland. From this point onwards, folks, I don't even know where I'm going, but there's a path comes down this way. The graveyard's here on my left, and it looks like the path goes down. And I'm just wondering if we can get a shot here on the video of the house I've done itself. Even if it's in the distance, it'd be cool to see it. But I'm thinking it's probably like this direction. But so far the path's going down here. But that's the realest adventure, folks. You don't even know where you're going, where you're going to end up. I've just noticed in the field here at the edge of the wood, there's some old stones being built. And this must have been an ancient structure right here. That's like a forgotten bit of history here near House of Dun. It's like a mound of stone. Whoa, I'm totally getting caught in the tree. Look at that, folks. Ancient history right there. It just looks like a mound, but I can actually see the stones are built in a straight line. Because of the dry conditions this year, folks, the grass is all dying off. Everything's pretty yellow. Something I would say about this area, when I've explored it both times, it's such a quiet area. I just got a spider web on my face there when I went through that bush. But yeah, it's quite a quiet area and it's peaceful. There's loads of areas that you just hear the burn running like that. There's a little waterfall there. In other parts, just look at it, it's like I'm literally in a jungle, folks. I want to try and get House of Dun here on video, folks, so I thought we could walk down this drive a little bit. I can actually see the House of Dun over there. Look at the size of those giant sequoia trees over there. There's a row of them. This is crazy right here. Wow. What a cool little place. Look, there's a wee hutty. I'm sure that's the car park and stuff up that way. Wow, I've not been here for years, but I remember visiting here and getting a tour of the house and that when I was young. And the other day, like, we didn't even realise, well, when I came in the path, like last week, when I first explored that area, I didn't even realise I was going to the House of Dun garden, and it was like, boom, when you come through a gate, there's an incredible mansion house right here. So most of the mansion houses that I go to and see in my videos, they're all abandoned and like destroyed almost. But this one here is well kept and looked after, and it's just as grand as it would have been back in when it was originally built. Let's have a look here. We'll go as far as this pillar to get a photograph. So there you go, folks, the grand entrance to the House of Dun, and you could imagine the horse and cart rolling in here back in the day into the main quadrant in the middle, where it would be served by the maid and butler staff of the house when anybody arrived. But I can actually see there's a little stone steps with a wee kind of wall, and that was designed so you could mount the horse, because all that was obviously back in the days of the horse and carts. But how cool is that, folks? The little clock up there, 8:30 it says, folks, and how crazy, it's a summer explore at 8:30 PM on a Friday. Most folk will probably be watching this maybe on the Saturday, but it's been a crazy Friday night adventure. I'm just going to walk down the drive a little bit and see if I can get a view of the front of the house. So there is more like massive gardens there at House of Dun to explore, but I'm not sure if you have to pay. I think you definitely have to give like donations and stuff to go into like the main gardens. But we're respectful in this channel, and we literally just came in that path, explored the wild garden, and here we are just getting a view of the house and how grand it looks. It's cool to see a house like this getting looked after and getting kept going, because so many Scottish houses and mansion houses, they're just too big to upkeep in the modern like way things are financially. And to restore one now which is like in a poor condition, it's difficult. Wow, you can actually see the mansion up there between the trees. See, I'm not sure if this row of trees here maybe signifies that originally the road had come straight up there, but I could be wrong. It looks to me though like the trees there are in line with the other ones going down the drive. So I'm not sure if the area's been redesigned and redeveloped. Maybe when this road's been put in, they've changed it so it's easier for tourists and members of the public to access it. Wow, it's such a grand mansion. Maybe one day soon we'll have to take a tour of the house of Dun. Look at this, folks. I was hoping I could get a view of the house from this corner, but it's no that way. Look, there's a rare mound in the field down here. It's got a fence round it. I'm not sure what that's been. But the main big house is across here, and then this strange mound is over there. So that could be another like historical wonder here in the middle of the field, or it could be just like a water tank or something for a nearby farm. Look at this sign here, folks. It says places to visit, or it says your next visit, J.M. Barrie's birthplace. And we all know where that is, folks. Kirriemuir. 23 miles from here. National Trust for Scotland. And they do a lot for maintenance and like keeping a lot of these old country manors in good order. And it's good to see that. But I am intrigued to see like this mound in the ground here in this field is something that I didn't know about, and it's obviously been something from history here on the land. You can kind of just see it, but it's difficult. I would have to literally go into this field to get a good view of the big house. But yeah, it's been cool. It's been something different. That main drive there takes you down the main road, but it's quite a busy road and dangerous to walk on, so I'll probably take this other route back up here and round. But I'll keep you updated, folks, because it's a crazy adventure. Somebody might come out of here and be like, what are you doing in here? But I don't even know the rules, folks. I've not seen any signs saying keep out or anything. I've just walked down a path, and it's crazy. I've ended up at the House of Dun. Massive Scottish mansion. It's crazy often having spontaneous adventures where it's unplanned as well, because that's when often you find the coolest random things. And after seeing the little chapel, it's cool to see the mansion house which is like related to that. That's quite a cool view there, folks, looking through between the trees. You just see the mansion there standing. So many chimneys as well. There's literally like 30 or more chimneys right there on the top. And I love the way all the bushes and stuff are like trimmed and kept in good order. It's impressive. I think any cars that's lowered and stuff though, they might have bother getting over there. Or I remember when I had my first car, the Metro, it used to go over bits like that and sparks used to come out the back. Look at this here, folks. On this adventure, I've come back around this side of the house because I want to look at these massive trees. They're so big. I'm pretty sure they're giant sequoia trees. Brought here like a lot of estates. They used to bring rare tree types, plant types, and like shrub types. Look at that, the soft bark. Almost sounds hollow. And these trees are native to like America and places like that. In a lot of big Scottish estates you see trees like this, and I've even seen them at like abandoned houses where the big house has been knocked down. You still see the remains where the giant trees were planted around the perimeter. Look at this, the row of these giant trees, folks. It's madness to see this. And it's a madness to see this old mansion house here too. Wow. This is crazy, folks. Check it out. House of Dun, National Trust of Scotland, and it's such a beautiful construction and a beautiful big mansion house. The first time I've ever documented this on the channel, but I didn't want to just be like walking right up to the front doorstep and stuff, folks, because we've got respect on this channel. It's cool just to record it from here. We've seen a lot of the landscape around it. Yeah, it's one of the best kept areas, I would say. Like some estates, a lot of the further out areas get up, like can quite overgrown and not well maintained, but here everywhere looks well maintained. It's impressive to see this ancient house. I've not even done any research because it's spontaneous coming and seeing this house, folks. But like, yeah, I might put in the video description. Look, the lights have just come on round the path. I might put on in the video description like the year and stuff this was built, because that's what I often do. I come on an adventure and say what I see, and then again in the comments or whatever I'll update you with interesting history about places. So there we go, folks. I got a couple of cool photos there just looking at the front of the house. The courtyard where the old horse and cart and that would go in would be at the other side of that wall. And I think that first building is like the cafe and things like that. But yeah, they cater for coaches, coach loads of folk, or even just families and tourists. And there's swarms of midges here, folks. I don't know if you can even see that, but you get little clumps of them here and there. Wow, real adventures once again. It's crazy the things that you see if you often just go down a path you've never been before. To all at the house of Dun, I come with the greatest of respect. When I saw this in the distance, I just thought it's so worth coming and documenting an incredible piece of Scottish history right here. It's definitely worth coming for a proper tour one day. Yeah, amazing place. I can hear a Subaru in the distance, probably on the Montrose Brecon Road. The Subarus have got that noise when you just know it's a Subaru. The Boxster engine, folks. Check this tree out right here. And there's a little building up there. It's maybe like an old gardener's house or something from back in the day. But I believe nowadays that could be like the toilets and stuff for the car park. So there you go, that's the path that I came into this site on. And I just thought I would go and have a wee look up here. See if there's any little buildings or any crazy animals. This is obviously the car park. If you're coming to visit this place, you come right up the road here and then into here. I think there's cool other areas as well, like a little play area and stuff like that. It caters for all ages of the family. Listen to that peacefulness and that silence, folks. And a little bit of history hidden in the middle of it all. Look at the way the stones is built. Oh, I can see the walled garden and stuff. I'm not sure, I think there's a few walled gardens here. But yeah, this is as far as I'm going to come up this road. I think there's a few different drives as well. But literally, this is a late, well, it's not that late, but it's a Friday night adventure. We're going to get this one uploaded quick, folks, because I'm all about getting the footage out. It's cool adventures and it's cool to share with the world. Maybe another day we'll go and explore some of these other drives. But tonight it's been cool to even see like the house of Dun itself and the construction of the mansion there, which is related to the other history that we saw in last week's video with the old ice house. But also some of the history we saw tonight with the little chapel, the little abandoned chapel in the wood. And even a cool little cottage like that, a wee button ben. It's the character of Scotland. And I love exploring it. Yeah, here we are. You can tell it's getting late obviously though, because these lights have come on. Now it's getting a wee bit later in the year. It's getting darker early, folks, and it is noticeable, I would say, this past week. Normally about 9:30 now, 9:45. It's definitely noticeably darker. Let's go back into this jungle habitat here, folks, which we first explored. That was the reason we first even like found this place right here. Look at this show of purple plants here with the yellow behind them. I'm making my way back through this jungle-like terrain here, folks, but I'll end this video here. It's been a cool adventure. Don't know if it's been a short adventure or not. It probably hasn't been, but it's been a cool adventure anyway, so yeah, I'll end it here. Thanks very much for watching. Tune in again soon for the next one. I'm not sure where I'm going, but it's cool to hear a wide variety of different things on the channel. It blows my mind off in the history that's just hidden in the wilderness of Scotland. And yeah, it's been cool to document another piece of that as well. Because like I've said before, sometimes the videos can be the only thing that saves the history after years. If a tree falls on something or something chips away with the weather, you can often see how it did look at one time. So that's a cool thing about these adventures as well. But yeah, I'm going to end it here. Thanks very much for watching. Tune in again soon for the next scene. We'll see you soon, folks.